Good morning, everybody. Yes, good morning, Xbox. Welcome to episode 42. I'm your host, Mr. Boom Boom Kaboom. It's Newf Nukem in the room, and I've assembled a fantastic panel as well. Well, they've always been here. But, hey, the panel is ready to go with minus a couple subtractions and our phenomenal guest this morning. But let's introduce our panel, then our guest, if you don't know him already. Let's start with Coolcat Terri. What is happening, girl?
Hey everybody, I hope you're all doing fantastic on this, what is it, Sunday? Can't keep track. On this great Sunday, and hopefully we have some great conversation, and I'm looking forward to the show.
I'm certainly looking forward to the show. It's going to be a good one. Edward at Cell Block 22 coming in, everybody's favorite inmate, Eternal Shaddai. No, don't worry, guys. He's not actually in prison, but
no.
But we are.
You know what? I should have wore that today. I forgot. I should have wore that.
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah.
How you doing, Shaddai? What you been up to?
Good morning. This is your compatriot, Eternal Shaddai. What I've been up to, actually, I finally got the chance to play Tiny Tina's. I had some issues there last night, but other than that, it's been good. Just ready for to talk about gaming.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, that's why we're here. It's all about the games, baby. All right.
All about Halo.
Yeah. Moving on down to the wise one himself. Cerebral Paul is in the building, not on cam, but that's because he's naked and he can't put his clothes on.
That's it. Yeah. Well, I might turn on the cam in a minute. Let me make sure I look pretty enough for you.
Absolutely. All right. It's good to see you, Paul. What you been up to?
Not much. Much like Eternal Shaddai. I've been playing a lot of Tiny Tinas lately, so that's what I've been doing the last couple of days, pretty much. Literally. Okay, last time I looked, I had over 13 hours, and so I'm pushing close to 20 hours in 48. So that tells you that, yeah, it's too bad I'm not enjoying that game at all. Imagine what time I'm putting it. No, I'm kidding. With the little glitches and all, but we'll talk about that when the subject comes up.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, actually. And making his long-awaited debut as a guest on this show, the one, the only, we know him as Italian Clownz. Some people know him as Carlo, fresh off of the 4GQ TV podcast. Here he is, the man himself. What's happened, Carlo?
Hey, what's up, man? Pleasure being here. Thank you, for letting me come on the show. I've always loved your shows, Newf, and scheduling just never worked out before, but I'm very, very glad to be here today.
Well, we're glad to have you here. Got some good topics, and I'm sure you'll always lend a very calculated opinion, as you always do. One of the good guys in the Xbox and gaming communities for sure, and a member of the Gamers United Guild. Shout out to all those in the guild, and especially, of course, my Canadian brother, Graphic God. If you like the artwork that you see on display on my channel, that's where it comes from, baby. So hit him up, and he can get yours done as well. But anyway, let's get right into the first topic of the morning. First, I guess we should always shout out the people that make this possible, the people that we wake up for and always love interacting with. Our great chat, including Splendiferous. First guy here this morning, dropping it down heavy. What is going on? Crazy Greek dude is in the house. We got Casket Repair, my good brother Casket. How are you doing? OCD Gamer is ready to drop it. We have got the one, the only Doggy Dog 420 is here. Bark, bark, woof, woof. Yes, good to see you, Doggy. Lost Forever is hanging out with us as well. Gone Mad is here. Toolman 55. Yeah, man, we got some amazing people already here bright and early. Apparently Lost Forever's got an affliction with pineapple on pizza over there. I don't know what's going on. Biz Anku, what's going on? BZH. Yeah, we got Talus Gaming. We got the one and only K Asante in here. And yeah, we're off to a good start. Pragmatic Eagle in the house as well. What is going on? And I hear somebody in the background. Who is that? Who is dwindling? Oh, here he is, the birthday boy himself. Yes, Axel 1324, fresh off a bottle of whiskey, probably. Yeah. What's going on, Axel?
Hey, how are you? Sorry, I'm a little late. I struggled to wake up this morning.
No, really?
How's everybody this weekend?
It could be better.
Yeah.
You guys don't know already, yes, and excuse me if I cough or anything during the show. I guess I tested positive for COVID-19 yesterday and got sent home from work, so I'm off for a few days. Hopefully I'll get some rest, and nothing will be too serious. Right now it feels like, pretty much your typical winter season cold. Maybe it evolves from there. I have no idea. So
yeah, anyway. I hope it doesn't happen like it happened to me.
You're not supposed to make mouth-to-mouth contact with those GTA ladies.
Yeah.
That's not what it was. Damn it! I knew I went overboard.
You're supposed to kill him, not kiss him. Come on. You know,
I think I know why. Because
Not how you get your money back, Newf.
I think I know why, because last weekend he was yelling at the cat, and I think the cat got him.
Oh, that's it.
why-
The cat.
Yes, the cat got me back. Dropped some kind of crap up my nose while I was sleeping, and there you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. And just to get this out of the way, because I don't think I've said it here in this particular podcast, but I'll just let everybody know, and I won't make this long. After the month of April, so essentially we'll have about 4 podcasts, I think, in April. I am officially stepping away from the limelight to getting away from the podcasting gig, so to speak, to take a long break, reflection on life, to do other things, and just the commitments, and like I said, a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm not going to get into it here. You can check out the video that I did on my channel with a pretty detailed explanation of what's going on. So if you haven't heard the news, well, now you're in on the deal. Whether anybody from this amazing channel decides to or this podcast decides they want to carry on the mantle, it is completely up to them. I've left it open, but I will be stepping away until further notice. So again, I appreciate all the support, the amazing amount of phenomenal messages I got in my DMs, people reaching out to me. It definitely makes you feel good inside, and certainly like you've made an impact somewhere over my tenure, probably since 2013-14, I guess, when I kind of come onto this scene. So anyway, it's been a good run for me, but we still got a couple more weeks, so let's move into it. And by the way, like I said, our panel members of Scrub Nurse cannot make it this morning. I guess he's got to go into work early, so he regretfully can't be here, which kind of sucks. I was looking forward to his take on the Halo. And also, who else are we missing this morning? Somebody's not here.
I think that's it.
No. Oh, that's it. Right,
Axel showed up.
That's
yes.
it.
I thought Axel was not going to be here.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Good stuff. Ice Queen Gaming, what's going on? We got, who else we got in here? Jasmine Maldonado. What's happening, Jasmine? Good to see you. Hey, our good brother Dreadpool is in the house. What's going on? Maddie Burns is here as well. Good to see you. And let me see. I got a super chat to take care of, and I'll get to that real quick. A couple, actually. We got Doggy Dog, $1.99. Happy Sunday and much love. New panel and chat. And well, maybe that was the only one, was it? No. And we got another one coming in from Splendiferous, who dropped $2. This is Good Morning Xbox, and it is an Xbox podcast. Yes, it is primarily. We do get a few different topics, but primarily we focus on Xbox and what's happening in the ecosystem. All right, first topic of the morning. Let's get into it. Halo, the show, has finally dropped on Paramount Plus. If you didn't see the news right off the bat, it's been Paramount Plus's biggest debut show, which is not entirely surprising. They certainly don't have the same amount of big name content over on their channel as other competitors, but Halo is a step in the right direction, and I'm pretty sure that's why they dropped the big box coming fresh from Amblin Studios, which is one of Steven Spielberg's production suites. Yes, it is finally out there. Master Chief, live in the flesh, so to speak, drops down, does his thing, and even takes off the helmet toward the end of the episode. Yes, it's not necessarily a spoiler because everybody should have known that by now if you didn't see pictures of his face all over the internet. Yes, there you go. Pablo Schreiber, a Canadian boy, takes off the role as Chief himself. Some people, like I said, are very happy with this show. Some people are furious. How do you guys feel about it? And I'm going to let the floor, I'll give you my 2 cents worth in a bit. Let's start with our guests. Let's get Carlo in here right off the bat. Carlo, have you had a chance to watch the show, and what is your take on it?
All right, so yes, I've watched the show. To be honest with you, only got about maybe 38 minutes in, maybe. If so, I got to finish it. But I want to say that the way it started out, I really liked the show. I think that the opening scene through the first 28 minutes was fantastic. I think the action was great. The way the Spartans came in, the way that you see the way that they portrayed the aliens in that, I thought that was really good effects, especially for a TV show, right? I mean, because it could have looked a lot worse. Could have looked like something bad from an early Star Trek, but it didn't. It looked, for Halo, it looked really good. Once we got to Reach, I got a little bored. I got to be honest with you. I felt that was a little boring there, but I still need to finish the show to give it a full opinion. But I think it's headed in the right direction. I know I know there's some people disappointed. I mean, people DM me saying, you know, we're upset about the voice of Master Chief, or we're upset about the mask coming off, you know, stuff like that. But you know, it's a TV show. They could do what they want. It's a direction that's different than the video games, and I kind of think that's a good thing. I don't think that everything should be to the book on a video game in general. Anyway, it's good to have a difference so that it brings in a different crowd as well, and then they might get interested in the game later on and start playing the game. And I mean, either way, it's pretty cool for a lot of people. For the hardcore fans that seem a little bit disappointed, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I would say give it a chance. I think the acting so far in the first episode, phenomenal. I could see why it got renewed for a second season. Yeah, so that, you know, that's my opinion on it.
There you go, right to the point as always. You know, and Kiki Wolfkill had some thoughts on it, you know, in one of her interviews. And, you know, obviously knows there's going to be a lot of speculation, especially about the face unveiling, you know, because in the games notoriously he keeps it on. But I think in order to evolve the show, to make the show to appeal to a wider audience, there has to be changes that cannot follow the lore and the script identically. You know, because that's just how it works. We see this in the movies all the time, and I don't think it's really any different for the show. And to be honest, I personally don't think it's a huge deal. But anyway, let's get over to Axel, who's arguably perhaps our biggest Halo fan on the channel. For sure. So I'm going to start with him. I can definitely say Terry is probably our least Halo fan on the channel. So she probably is like,
but she looks like she's zoned out already. So
to be fair, I'm the one who brought up the topic. So I mean,
yeah, that's true.
You can't wait to hear what you know, because it is a show. I mean, even if you don't like the games, it doesn't mean you can't like the show. So let's get over to Axel. What did you think, man? Were you excited? Were you disappointed? Give us your take.
So first off, when he was in his helmet view, they showed a couple of inside the helmet views. There was no reticle. That's a total downer. Everybody knows that in Halo you have the reticle right in the middle.
Oh dear God.
Oh no, obviously I'm trolling on that one. The battle scene, epic. The fact that it's the human rebels fighting against the Spartans, that's what they were originally made to do, is to squash the human rebellion. Of course, the Covenant came in the lore and all that topic changed. But the fact that the Covenant has been known in the show for 2 years and there's still human rebellion out, I don't know how good that works out to the lore. Just pointing out some lore differences, right?
Yeah.
I do like the way the Sangheili look, the elites. I like how they're not just skinny bones. They kind of got some bulk to them. They're tall, as they should be.
What was it? Somebody referred them as the Ninja Turtle elites.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like them, and I especially like the way the Sanshayu and the prophets looked. The eyes, the way they carry themselves, the voices. It was awesome. The human that is in the city of High Charity, I find kind of odd. As humans, you know, are supposed to be the inheritors of the mantle. The prophets don't like that, so that's why they don't like humanity, the Covenant. So the fact that there is one in there is kind of weird, in my opinion. So that's the one. That's the first like strike against it. The politics part, when after the battle and it gets into the politics and it's setting up the lore. It's telling you what everybody's doing, what they're supposed to be doing, all this stuff is actually kind of interesting to me because it sets up the little universe that they're trying to set up, and I found it interesting. And I'm glad that they got it all out of the way in the first episode, to be honest with you. Excuse me. Dr. Halsey, she's very much Dr. Halsey, gets told orders and does the opposite. Couldn't wait for it. And in the lore, you know, Dr. Halsey puts override after override after override after override in her systems that she made, including the Spartans. So when Master Chief goes rogue, quote unquote, and the other Spartans are told to protect him, even though they're told to bring him in via an override, that was really fun to watch. You know, these Silver Team walk down and getting ready to basically shoot their own comrades to protect Master Chief. That was really epic, an epic scene. It was very tense. Overall, the first episode, I'm going to give it an 8 because I do think, while I was ready for him to take his helmet off, I was not ready for him to do it in the first episode. And yeah, I get it. Master Chief is not a Mandalorian. He can take his helmet off in real life, all that good stuff. But, I feel that it would, because he's a character known with his helmet, I just thought it would be a little more epic, a little more, awesome scene. So that's the main thing. I don't have a problem with him taking his helmet off. I just have a problem with how he took his helmet off. It didn't seem like an important enough moment to take your helmet off. Other than that, 8 out of 10 for me. I like the show. I'm definitely going to be watching. I'm really glad that it's doing well. I'm really glad that Paramount Plus is doing well with it. And don't forget, guys, you can enter for a controller giveaway if you watch Paramount Plus and the first episode on your Xbox. Just saying. Interesting.
Muted, Newf.
Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say it's kind of funny because I don't on my Xbox up here in Canada. Maybe it's because technically it's not available. I don't know because I'm watching it through my Roku device. That's where Paramount Plus is available, but like I can't even download it on my Xbox.
That is weird.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Change your region.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great take from Axel. Let's jump back down to Cerebral Paul on this one. Yes, who's back on camera and must use that leftover hamburger grease to fix up the hair.
No, dude, I'm Italian. It just does that, It's just
automatic.
Yeah.
All right.
So first, let me say that. So what important reason for you looking that he had to be an urgent reason to take his helmet off? What he hadn't eaten in 4 days for that urgent, and he just ripped it off. What do you want? I just think it's part of natural living. I still don't think that's a big deal at all. But I really enjoyed the first episode. I'm looking forward to it. I don't know the lore and stuff as deep as you do because I never really got into Halo as much as I did Gears. So I'm going to enjoy the show for what it is. I don't care about all this little nitpicking. He doesn't sound right. He doesn't look right. He doesn't smell right. I don't care. If it's a good show, I'm going to watch it,
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing with the kid and stuff seems like it's kind of weird, but we'll let that go for a while and see what they do with that, because are they going to turn him into, daddy figure Master Chief? What are we doing there? So, yeah, but I enjoyed it. I did. I'll keep watching it. I still don't get a lot of the criticism that's coming down from the hardcore fans because they want what they see in the games. And that's like book fans wanting what they read in the book in the movies. And we all know that doesn't happen for one reason or another.
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. The show should definitely not be Halo, the video game, the show.
Right, because in the video games there was not a whole lot of backdrop stuff. It was all just battle to battle to battle. That's not going to be a good show to watch. You're definitely not going to engage anybody outside of the hardcore. And to quote what I'm told, when it comes to hard video games, you could just watch people play the game on YouTube if that's what you want. Seriously. So they're gonna build out the characters. They're gonna build out a story. How much of the lore they're going to use, we don't know, but, but I'm looking forward to it. I really am. So we'll see what happens. I hope it does well. I really do. Yeah.
Dude, if it stays as gory as it did,
wow, yeah.
I love how ruthless the elites were in that opening battle. That's exactly the way they should have been. I mean, they were just heartless, and I'm like, yes, I'm there for this.
No, I do have a question about that. But it seemed when they killed the elites and those guys, it was pretty gory, but when they killed the humans, a lot of it was off camera or cutaway. So they're doing that I think, to keep the censors happy. It's okay to slaughter an alien all over the place, but not okay to slaughter a room full of children. It's at least not to show it.
Those first few kids got lit up pretty bad.
Yeah, but exactly. you really did.
It is.
When they're in the woods, they basically killed
everybody, men, women, children, everybody.
Yeah, but well, they did. But I mean, the way they portrayed it seemed to be, they were very careful how they did that.
Mm. Well, great takes so far. We've heard from 3 people. We got 2 more to go, including myself, which should make us 3. Eternal Shaddai, let's find out how you felt about the Halo show. Did the Master Chief get you all up and bothered?
I just press play and press the stop, and I'm like, I'm not watching this. So I'm like, put it to the side, forget it. So
you haven't watched it?
No, I have.
Okay.
I finally finished it earlier. Earlier today, I finished the other half.
Mm-hmm.
I like their interpretation of the elites and everything around it.
Yep.
The only part that there's several things that I didn't like. Not the helmet thing, because he did it on Halo 4 anyways. So I guess a lot of people keep forgetting that at the end of Halo 4 he did that, and the only thing that they show was his eyes. So I don't know what's the big issue about it.
Right.
But other than that, I kind of felt that there's too much between the scene and through the visor. So I'm like, am I watching a show or am I watching a game? And it reminds me of I know a lot of people will not like this, but
the Doom movie.
The Doom movie, yes. So I'm like, okay, it's okay to do it once in a while, but not for when they're trying to do some type of cutscene, not a cutscene, but changing scenes, and it's always through his helmet. I'm like, okay, they gotta stop doing this.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people is gonna say, am I watching the show or the game? Other than that, I like the dialogue. I wish that they could have started earlier. What I mean by earlier, like when Halsey took the kids and experimenting them and all that. So it would have been a really nice intro. I'm not saying that it wasn't good enough, the intro that we received, but I expected more to the really beginning on how Master Chief became, or pretty much before turning to actually Master Chief.
They already did that.
Not when they're trying to take the kids. That's something that it bothers me, especially even on the games, because I expected at least us, like let's say Halo fans, at least let us control John when he was a kid, and then we go further. So even in the movie, even in the series, I expected at least for us to see what Dr. Halsey did on grabbing the kids and what she did to them.
Just so you know, from a storytelling standpoint, that may come later, because that wouldn't be an exciting way to start the show. That that people would because people want to, with a show like this, I can guarantee you people wanted action as fast as possible, not to necessarily go into the back end of it like that. That will probably be that story could be told later.
But it could have been at least inserted somewhere. You know what I mean? But you're correct. But you're correct. I feel that way too. That probably later.
I think you're going to see it through flashbacks, much like what happened.
That's what I was.
When you touched the alien device and he was starting to get those visions. So I think that's going to happen.
Exactly, and that's how I felt too. And I'm with Paul right there. I'm like, well, I guess they're going to show it later. But sometimes it's good to start there before what's happening now. Not too long, but you know how they are. This is almost an hour. So
but remember, okay, TV shows are different than movies. TV shows, they can stretch out their storytelling and do it in a more natural manner. Movies, you have 2 hours to flush it all in there and go.
Yeah.
And
but
so,
like I said, as a TV series, like you said, it could have been implemented.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. But other than that, I like the sound, especially the sound of the elite when they're trying to do that little thing. I'm like, they nailed the sound on the guns too. Everything. I'm just looking forward to it for the next episode.
Yeah. You also, I was going to mention, you also heard the sounds of the shields recharging. Yeah, they actually made that, so you didn't need to see anything, but you heard it. So if you're a fan, you know what it is. Yeah.
Yep. Even though he took, he was a bullet sponge because he's still there. But yes, you're correct.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking forward for the second episode.
Absolutely. Yes, and at least they don't have all their episodes up on the app at the one time, and then everybody's just like done with it in like 3 days and moves right along. So they're smart in that respect.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get over to get our final opinion before I weigh in. Coolcat Terri on this one. So Terri, as being the only lady on this panel as well, did Pablo Schreiber do it for you when the helmet came out?
I don't even know who that is. So he's a no name to me. So whatever. But,
what show was he in prior to Parks and Recreation? Wasn't it?
Didn't watch that either. So no clue who he is. But when it comes to like the show, I have not watched it, so I really don't have any info I can really give on an opinion about what they've done. However, like in the past when they first announced that they were going to do a TV series, I said I didn't have any interest in it at that time. Because I'm not a Halo fan, but I am a really big sci-fi fan. So if the show does a really good job, doing like to where it could scratch that sci-fi itch, I might be open to giving it a shot, especially since people keep going on and on about how it's not canon to the game. Maybe I can get into it because honestly, like the game, I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on. I played through the first 2 games and I'm completely clueless as to what the heck's going on. I just could not get into the storyline in the games. So maybe they can do a better job storytelling their own story in the show, and maybe they can grab me. Another thing that has interested me is the fact that they're investing $10 million an episode. And I'm like, that's freaking crazy. So they better have some really amazing special effects and things going on with that kind of a budget.
Microsoft money.
Because like I've seen other, journalists talking about it, and then that puts them right up there with Game of Thrones. Budget wise, and like so they better bring it with that. So like because
I thought they did. So
like if I that would be kind of disheartening if they're going to be putting that kind of money in, and then at some point they start to get kind of more lax about their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Game of Thrones, as popular as that show was, they had some really boring episodes and nothing really happened. So I mean. So it's just how they're going to do it.
And they also had a Starbucks cup on the set. Let's hope we don't see any Starbucks cups. Master Chief sipping on a latte,
So
there's going to be some McDonald's in there.
Oh goodness. So yeah, so I will definitely keep tabs on news of what's going on to see if it'll pique my interest. I'm like I said, I'm a sci-fi fan. So I might give it a check. I am not one that likes to watch and wait. Netflix and Hulu and like streaming services have kind of ruined that watch every week kind of a thing for me. So I'll wait until it's out and then I'll watch it. And if I like it, I'll binge it. If I don't, I'll be like, well, I didn't miss anything.
The question is, if you like the show, will you play the game then?
No, I've already played the game. I didn't like the game. Like, why would the show all of a sudden be like?
Hey, you might, you might feel like, what? I'll give it another try. You know what I mean?
No, no.
Yeah.
I played the first 2. I didn't, it didn't do it for me. I have no reason to go back. It's like my opinion's not going to magically change all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's because you didn't finish the fight, Terry. You got to finish the fight.
Oh dear.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good. But I think that's really all I can really say. That's all I can really say.
Well, we hope that you'll give it a watch, Terry, and look at it, with a different lens, and that's perfect as well, because that's what Paramount, and the creators of this are hoping for, is that they're not just going to lure in the people that have been stalwarts of the Halo franchise, but they're going to get people that are sci-fi fans or people that. They see this enigma on the screen, this character that perhaps he's seen in toy stores for decades, and now he's on the screen, and they're going to ask themselves, what is this about? And they're going to come in and watch it. Some people will hate it. Some people are definitely going to love it, but I think that goes for any television show in history. Me personally, look, I enjoyed it. Again, and I went in with an open mind. I went in knowing that, yes, it's not going to follow everything to the exact core. They're going to change up things. I understand how TV works. I understand that this is going to be more than, a series of 6 short episodes and then it's all finished. This is a series that hopes to be, for all intents and purposes, probably around for a long time. you know, and again, you have the stretch content, you have to make stories interesting, and it is all about stories because, you know, honestly, I remember when people were telling me about Breaking Bad, right? How cool that show was, and I at first I just couldn't get. I was like, okay, what's the big deal about this show? And when I finally gave it a chance and watched it, I found out what it was: amazing actors and an incredible storyline. And the same thing with Game of Thrones. You're right. Yes, it had some boring episodes, but Game of Thrones was just, it wasn't just more than a special effects extravaganza, which, I mean, its special effects were right up there with some of the best movies in history. But it was just about amazing characters and how they were all intertwined into this larger story. And I think that, you know, Halo is going to have to go for that too. And that's the whole part of the reason I know that they have to take off Chief's helmets, because in order to make him feel human, to make him relatable, is that you know, it's hard for any character in any form of you know, in any form of entertainment, whether it's books, movies, or whatever. Well, you know, in the books, if you're reading books, I mean, you can kind of make up your own mind as to how you want things to play out. But movies and TV are very visual mediums, and people want to see reaction, want to see emotion. I do agree with Axel. First episode and the way it came about was probably not how I would have chose to do it, but at the same time, it's out of the way now, you know, that sort of thing is out there early. So now you're not going to sit there for 15 or 20 episodes going, I wonder when he takes the helmet off. I wonder if he takes the helmet off. Come on. You know? So, and as far as the casting, I can't say like I was overly thrilled, but I'm not exactly disappointed. It's just kind of, it is what it is. And probably outside of him trying to do sort of a, I don't know, Steven Seagal-ish kind of voice for most of the episode. That was probably one of my biggest gripes, kind of that slow, Master Chief. You know, when you compared it to the real voice of Master Chief, right? Steve Downes, you know, his voice is just so different. I mean, Steve Downes is very, very crisp, very authoritative, kind of like that. You know, it's got that voice, and maybe that's the part that makes it rough for people, is because, you know, trying to identify his voice was almost as synonymous as the outfit itself. So, but, you know, I thought they did it well. The weapons looked amazing. I thought the special effects were dynamite. Like, I really thought they were done well. The animations looked pretty good. You know, like the elites definitely had that in a very large, imposing, especially, you know, seeing them in scale against humans and coming in there with those guns and stuff like that. They're like, holy, and watching the bodies basically disintegrate on the weapons that, you know, you're like, oh man, I wouldn't want to get hit with those freaking things. You know, and even Chief going on to explain like how stuff works. Like, yeah, he even talks about his armor. I'm a because the girl's pointing the gun at his head, and he's like, yeah, I'm a Mjolnir armor and this, that with titanium, and those guns are not going to do squat, basically. Like, yeah, fire away, kid. You know what I mean? So there's lots of little cool points. The part that Shaddai talked about inside the visor, I thought that was cool, as long as they don't overdo it. But I like the fact that they are trying to pay a little homage to the game fan base, because you see that HUD and you hear the noises of his shield regenerating when he takes the few big straight on hits and gets behind cover, you know, going back up. Like, so I think they did enough, in my opinion, to please a little bit of everybody, but also, again, keep people engaged. Probably my biggest gripe, and the character I'm already loving to hate, is that old hag that's bossing Halsey around the hate her.
Oh, the Admiral. Oh my God, hate her already.
Oh yeah, yeah. Get used to that. Yeah, you hate her in the game too.
I hate her already. Like, would you get off his nuts already? Like, you know, come on. But you know, I like the actor that does Halsey. I've seen her in a few films before, that sort of thing, and I'm interested in the show. I really liked that. I thought the first episode was definitely a good setup, and look forward to where the series goes. And any further thoughts? Anybody else? Because
I want to point out, you know, everybody compares this to the Mandalorian and the helmet thing. One thing that they could have done, but I don't know if they would have pulled it off with Chief, is if you watch The Mandalorian, he was able to show his humanity and his gentleness, especially because he had the baby Yoda, you know, Wagyu or whatever the hell his name is, Grogu.
Wagyu. Sounds like a Chip Boyardee pasta.
but he was able to act out and show his gentleness even through the mask. Right. So you could see that he showed his humanity and his, you know, his ability. There was really no way for Master Chief to do that, you know.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
that's play out for characters.
Yep.
I want to ask for those of you that the hardcore Halo fans, you'll probably remember this. Remember, like 10+ years ago, on YouTube, there was that fan made like Halo movie trailer for like the Fall of Reach or whatever. It was like live action, and like everybody was like, "This is the best thing ever. They should make it real."
I remember. I think
You
he was running
remember?
through the like columns or anything like that. I remember.
Like it was like going
Yep.
through like all like the concrete barriers,
Yep.
and then I don't know what the names of the things are, but the big hairy beast dudes were like real big, and he like chopped the guy up with the axe or whatever.
You're talking about the
Brutes.
brutes. Yep.
Yeah, so like they did like a really really good job with like the fan made thing. Like this is like I said over 10 years ago, and like I, as not a Halo fan, even enjoyed that video that they did because I'm a sci-fi nerd. So like, would you say is it like? Is that like capture it like what the show is like and only better because they have a higher budget, or do you think that it's not really there?
So I think what you're talking about is the Halo Reach live action trailer, the one where they're carrying the bomb through, and then eventually they blow up the Covenant ship. So there have been several instances of that with the concrete barriers. I know Halo ODST did it as well, and Halo Wars 2 did it as well with the concrete barriers blowing up. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I think that's all out war instead of just 20 elites, taking on a little outpost. And hopefully, we did see the planet Reach. So hopefully, if not this season, maybe next season, we'll get to see the actual fight for Reach, because that was the first major conflict between humans and the Covenant. Actually, Harvest was. I think that Harvest was
up toward the end of season 1, Axel.
And say that again.
I think they're going to set that up toward the end of season 1, because if you look at the Game of Thrones, it always seemed like they set up the big battle right at the end of the season and then kind of went from there.
Yeah, I mean, if they follow the lore, it'll be Harvest, because I know humanity fought for Harvest for 20 years before they got it back, and then after the 20 years, they found Reach and they just glassed the whole planet, which was a major defeat for humanity. So yeah, I hope they do show that, and they do start to show the desperacy that humanity was in during this war, because the only reason we won this war is because the elites, the Sangheili, came to our side, half of them. So yeah, I hope they do show that desperacy. But I know what you're talking about, how it looked and everybody's doing all these actions. I think the special effects now are better than they were back then. Of course, we haven't gotten to see the Jirahani, the brutes, the hairy ones. I hope they stick to the Halo 2, Halo 3 style of Jirahani and not the Halo Infinite style of Jirahani. I just think they look more. I just think they're scarier.
Well, what was impressive is the fact as well that the whole opening scene also started in daylight. Okay, because a lot of shows, if you notice, when they're running special effects, even a lot of movies tend to do this. It's they like to do them in the dark because special effects are a lot harder to pinpoint, like discrepancies or animation issues when it's always in the dark, because half the time you can't really see what the hell is going on. You kind of get a flash and you kind of go, oh. And if you even look at a lot of the other Halo stuff that was done with live CGI, a lot of it was in darker, like night settings and stuff like that. And the action happened much quicker. Like now you literally get to see these elites like right up in your grill, like where you can almost magnify it and like, wow, and they look really good. He comes up, that guy, he comes up on the glass with the girl, he kind of looks and, you're like, damn, get out of here, crab face. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. I like I said, I think that's if that's one of your gripes is the special effects, then boy, go back and watch some of your old favorite shows and tell me how they stack up, because trust me, I think they're pretty damn top notch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the special effects are awesome. But let's see what blah blah blah. Somebody brought up something about the Cortana program, how that politician the admiral is blocking the creation of the Cortana program. So I think that's going to happen closer to the end when Reach is because Cortana was created when the invasion of Reach was happening. So I think that's going to hopefully kind of stick to the similar timeline. So
Do we
we'll
even
see.
know how many
Maybe
episodes?
that's the reveal they're putting off, is the reveal of Cortana.
Yeah,
Do
they're
we
just in the
even
blue
know?
cues.
Do we know how many episodes the first season's been billed for? Like, is it 8? Is it 10?
I hope it's 10, but I don't.
Traditionally, most go for around the 9, 10, that sort of thing. I already know it's been greenlit for season 2, so that's always a good sign.
We did have a super chat up there, Newf, if you want to
Oh.
hit it.
Sure, let me go hit that right now. Sir X-Man, our good brother Sir X-Man is in the chat. What's going on, brother? I bet to say Chief has no hair. Sorry, just woke up. Well, his face looked kind of hairy, so yeah, I would imagine though that his body is pretty pale overall, though. Not much sunlight getting in there.
I did.
9 episodes. I had just looked it up on IMDb.
Yeah, 9 is what I
Damn,
found
Paul,
too.
Sir
you
X-Men
just
back
beat
again.
me.
The real test is when we see the ring and land on it. There you go, from Sir X-Man.
Yeah, baby. Can't wait. I mean, it is called Halo. Might as well take place on Halo.
That's right. Good stuff. All right. Any further thoughts? Shaddai, you look like you've got something else to say?
No, I'm like, what came to mind is when something exploded on Master Chief while he was actually moving forward. I thought somebody hit him with a firecracker just because of the smoke. It looked kind of fake right there.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it. Just to joke around.
Good stuff. So sounds like so far, all in favor of the first episode. Aye. Well, pretty unanimous.
Yeah, Captain.
What? Carlo? What was that, Carlo?
I said I.
Aye. Okay, I couldn't
Yeah.
see if your hands were up or not. He's like, okay.
Arr, aye.
Arr, arr.
Arr.
Next, the live action show, Sea of Thieves.
Hello.
That wouldn't surprise me if they didn't make a live action Sea of Thieves, because Pirate Show would probably be pretty cool.
Dude, Sea of Thieves is such a good property. They need to make a cartoon of it or something.
Yeah, they could have a lot of fun with that one for sure.
I'm actually surprised there's not like Sea of Thieves Mega Blocks, you know, because I would totally buy them.
Yeah. Get the big ship. Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Well, we're at that point of the show, just about at the halfway mark, and it's time to bring in Coolcat Terri and her Indie Spotlight feature. So, Terri, whenever you're ready, I'll pull it up on the screen. All right.
All right, everybody. So I got a fantastic game. This game, I've been super hooked on it. I've been playing this one pretty much nonstop. So I got it. My friends have been dragging me away for my little bit of time I have for gaming right now. It's like I want to play this, but they keep trying to make me play stuff with them, and I'm like, no, I want to play this. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna show you guys the trailer for Disciples Liberation. It just came out not too long ago, and then I'll go into more detail about it.
All right, here it is, everybody.
From a new dawn, a hero rises. Torn between two worlds, yet part of none. It's your fate to free Nevendar.
We be precise. We get in, take out this priest, and go get our pay.
But what about the guards? If any of them see our faces, the Empire will hunt us down, and our families.
Embrace your destiny as the child of iron and sky. Seize your destiny and liberate the land of Nevendar. Welcome to Frontier.
All right, so This game just came out here, a couple months ago, like I said, and it's so good. It's so good. So for those of you that are into like your tactical, like strategy style games, this one is for you. And it's one of the things I really love about this game is how simplistic the game style is. Like I play a lot of RPGs and I've played some tactics like games, and some of them just get too complex and difficult for no dang reason. They have too much going on. I like how simplistic they get it, so you can literally just drop in and play and have fun. And this is literally a game that you could stop playing and come back to. And because it's so easy to figure out, you don't have to go through that learning curve again. We've all been there where we played a game, we were loving it, we got distracted, we come back months later and we don't remember what the frick was going on or how to play the game anymore. That won't happen with this. It's so easy. So I highly recommend it. So if you're into dark fantasy and like RPG stuff, this is for you. And all right. So there's over 80 hours of gameplay on this. Not everybody has time for that kind of endeavor, but it goes fast. I haven't, I only get to play, a little bit here and there myself, and I already got over 30 hours in, and it just flew by because I've just been so immersed in this game. Just the gameplay is just really, really fun for me. And it's rare that a tactics game will kind of like pull me in like that. So it's done very, very well. You have the ability to there's like 4 different factions. You got choices matter kind of situation, which factions you side with, which ones you help or hurt, things like that. Companions you pick up along the way based on your choices, and then they all have their alliances with different factions, so you could inevitably tick them off to where they will fight you and leave you have to kill them or whatever. So it really comes into play there. I mentioned in the trailer there's over 270 missions, so it's playing to keep you busy. And it's just really well done. Got what was it? Over 100 different skills. Whoops, I hit play on my thing. Hotkeys. There's over 100 different skills you can use in the game. 81 different spells, and as you they also do this thing when you start out as like the set class. You play as a character called Aviana. It's a set character. You don't build a character or anything like that sense. It's a set character that you play and you learn her story and you kind of create your own based on whatever, and it has multiple endings and all the things going on. There's a lot to cover in it. It's a single player game, but it does have a PvP side for those who want to do tactics against other people. If that's your jam, go for it. I haven't tried that. I don't know if there's people playing that or not. I feel like a game like this, people are going to just want to do the single player side, but who knows? There might be people trying to be tactical and basically doing like their tactics chess, with other people. Who knows? So it is an option that's there. But it's $40. You can go ahead and get it on PC, PlayStation, Xbox. And I definitely, like I said, I recommend it. I love this game. I'm having so much fun playing it. And it's so good. It's so good. It's a lot of fun.
Well, it looked okay, but you lost me as soon as I saw the strategy element. I was like, eh.
It's super simple though. Like I said, I don't like strategy games. Like RTSs, I will not touch an RTS. No one will ever convince me to play an RTS ever. This one is good. Like I don't even like XCOM. Like I do not like XCOM.
I don't love XCOM.
I can't play Command and Conquer. You'll never see me play Command and Conquer or anything like that. I can't stand them. This one they make the gameplay so easy to learn and enjoyable that people who aren't fans of this stuff can get into tactics. So it's really good.
Gotcha. All right, there you go, guys. There is the Indie Spotlight with Coolcat Terri. All right. No, just to address Portal Player in the chat, or we're not talking about Spartacus today. That's for other podcasts. Generally, we don't really bring up PlayStation too often unless it's something extremely relevant. So,
unless you want to talk about the old Star show, I go on about that. I love that show. But you know,
awesome. All right, so let's move along. Let's talk about. There's been a lot of great games coming out lately. It's been a sort of a glut of them, so to speak. But one that's been, I don't know where this falls on the radar. It seemed like some people really couldn't wait to get their hands on it. Other people could care less. And we're talking about spin-offs, and one in particular, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Yes, there was a DLC that came out. Tiny Tina, if you're not familiar, is based. She's a character from the Borderlands universe. She sort of became very popular from the game, hence the fact that they did a spin-off DLC and now a standalone game in the Borderlands universe, but obviously with a much different premise this time around. Seems to be a bit more mythological kind of stuff, like dragons and weird stuff, whereas the other one was more of a post-apocalyptic, crazy, wacky game. And we'll probably get, I know Cerebral Paul has been playing it. He said prior to the start of the show, I think about 13 hours in or something here. So that's a good little bit, a chunk of change considering the game just dropped. So we're going to find out how you feel about it. And then I guess the second part of the conversation is what's the best sort of spin-off game you guys have ever played, and what would be a great game that you'd love to see a sort of spin-off or a character go out. And in a reference to that, I could say, like, if you look at Gears of War, my favorite franchise, they did a spin-off game with Gears of War Judgment, which was hit and miss in some regards. That was based on Baird's, the adventures of Baird and what do they call it?
Kilo Team.
Kilo Team. Yeah. So go check that one out if you never have. So that's just one of the examples. But here we are to talk about Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So Paul, is Tiny Tina wonderful?
Okay, so let me kind of give you the go over here. Tiny Tina's doesn't actually take place in the Borderlands thing. That's why they have dragons and stuff, because you're actually playing their version of D&D with Tiny Tina as the dungeon master. And she is a crazy dungeon master. Yeah, but it's kind of cool because you have Wanda Sykes is voicing one of the characters that's playing with you, and during the game, aside from doing the battling and following the story, when there is one actually, you hear the players are talking as themselves as well. Oh, you can't do that. How can they have, C4 in this land of fantasy, blah, blah, blah. And so she corrects herself. And if you like the Borderlands humor, you might like this game. And you, not only are you in the little areas where you're fighting and running around and going and doing all the stuff you do in Borderlands, but they have what they call the overworld, which is basically, imagine when you're playing D&D, if you've ever played tabletop, you have your little figurine that you're moving from one area to another, and you're getting attacked and stuff. I have one friend who said that part really threw him off. He wanted to stay in the land, but they did that, I think, to show that you're playing a game within a game, basically. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I love the humor. I love the, it is a loot and shoot like all Borderlands are. There's no, designing stuff and having to manufacture stuff and all that crap. It's you get better weapons as you go along and you sell them and you buy new ones, and that's all it is, just like Borderlands, but it's fun. At this point in my life, I probably would. She'd be exciting. Anyway, thanks for that little distraction. But my take is it's a lot of fun especially if you like Borderlands, or in my case, I was playing Tales from the Borderlands the last couple of weeks just to kind of remind me what it was like to be in that kind of humor, in that kind of story. You should enjoy this. It's well worth it. It really is. I mean, and actually I'm way above 13 hours. I'm probably pushing 20 at this point. In 2 days. Yes. Cause Paul doesn't have a life. But Paul's having a lot of fun, and that's what matters. Play games, have fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Paul. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. I mean, it definitely looks cool. I'm actually I think I'm more interested in this game than I was with the actual Borderlands stuff itself. It just looks really interesting, like the characters and all the crazy stuff that's in this one. Like an acid trip. Speaking of a trip, look at Carlo. He's up. He's on top of the ball. Nice. Look at that. He's got. Look. He said he stole your date from you, Paul. He's got Tina with him already. Look at that.
That's right.
She can have her. She can have. He can have her. She was talking about places to put C4. At that point, the date was over. It's like
She's like, I like big beards, and I cannot lie.
Yeah,
that's right.
Let's go with you, Carlos, since you got her up on the screen. Have you had a chance to dive into the world of Wonderlands?
Oh yes, I have, and I'm okay. So I'm a huge Borderlands fan, and I have a big opinion on this. First off, let me tell you, Borderlands 2 for me was the best Borderlands ever, and the humor, the writing, Claptrap just made that game beautiful. Now, when you get into Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and you are thinking like Borderlands 2, Borderlands 3 kind of humor, it's there, but it's a little bit different because the game starts off a little bit slow. So you have to hang in there to really get into this game if you are a Borderlands fan. Tiny Tina is amazing. The voice acting is amazing. The animations, the cell shading, of course, is all there. Great. But for me, when I first booted up the game, I got to admit, the first 30 minutes, I was a little disinterested as a huge Borderlands fan. I felt kind of like they didn't draw me in immediately like they did in Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3. It just, that pull wasn't there for me. I had to stick with it, had to get past like, you know, what they call like the prologue and all of that good stuff. And then once I did that, I got into it. And I think that I appreciate what Gearbox is trying to do. I think that the top-down world that Paul was alluding to, where you're kind of like on the actual board of their version of Dungeons and Dragons walking around, it's a really cool mechanic. It's not going to be for everybody. There is lots of enemies that spawn to just do random encounters. It might annoy some people, but it's something different. So I appreciate that, Newf. I really do. And I really hope that they take what they have in this and make a sequel, but they need, I want that Claptrap humor. Like, I'm a huge Claptrap fan. And I was a little sad. He
shows up. He shows up. Okay. Are you happy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that he shows up, but in Borderlands 2, he was like right there, and he
but it's different style of game, And actually, since we're talking, I want to mention, by the way, I forgot all about it, but there are, if you do play it, there are some issues. There are definitely some glitches going on, and the big one is with the multi. Nah, it's still showing up a little bit as of late last night.
No, if they fixed it.
Well, but okay, stop. Beyond that, I've still noticed some weird playtime glitches as well that have nothing to do with the multiplayer. So it's just minor little, nothing game killing or anything like that. Just minor little weirdness. Like at one point, I was supposed to finish killing off the bad guys. Well, there were no other bad guys to kill. So I had to go back and basically restart that segment, because somehow they probably glitched under the world or something, given where the marker was. So there's still some minor issues that may pop up. Don't let it kill your game, though.
Paul, I'm going to put a pineapple on the screen just for you after this.
Yeah, I'm just telling you right now. I'm probably further along than you are, too, so.
Well, you are. Yeah, you got like 13 hours in. I probably maybe got 5 or 6. So you're definitely further than me. But to fix these stuttering issues that people are having, here's the fix. You got to turn it on invite only. So, and you get it. A lot has to do with the crossplay issue that people are having. A lot has to do with keeping your lobby open. For some reason, it has a back-end connection problem. But Flamish and I, as soon as we put it on invite only, friends only, that's not a they fixed it. That's a workaround. Okay, so the issue is still there. I mean, technically, okay, you're right, Paul. I'll give you this one. You get
Thank you.
You get 10 pineapples for being correct. Okay, 10 pineapples coming your way. But it is a good workaround for now. Everybody knows that's a Borderlands fan that Borderlands does have connectivity issues always in the beginning. I don't know why this occurs, what happens with the QA testing, but they still always launch with connectivity issues. I'm sure that they will fix it because this is a massive title for Gearbox. This is a massive title for the Borderlands franchise. And it's supposed to bring in all kinds of fans that maybe didn't get hooked on the other games, Yeah.
It's definitely fun. It really is.
Yeah, so Newf, that's my take on it. I think that, it's a good title, but you just got to hang in there. The beginning is not the most interesting of any game.
Well, it's a setup. It's basically a walk you through basic controls type of stuff. It's like they do with every game nowadays. You're muted again, Newf. You're talking to yourself.
The bottom line is the thing I want to know, as someone who doesn't have the game yet, but someone who does like Borderlands, would I like this game? Or is there a big depending on here? Because
it's
is it still a third-person shooter?
yes.
Okay.
You mean
that's
first
the
person
thing.
shooter?
There is a big dependent. You got to get past the first like 20 or 30 minutes. Once you do that, then you could decide if you truly like the game or not. Too bad it wasn't in Game Pass for people to try it for a little bit or some type of trial. But yeah, first 30 minutes, get past that, and then you'll know if you like it or not.
Okay, well, it's good to know. I'll keep that in mind. Hey, our good friend Mr. Tushy Gaming is in the house. Man, they had some fun last night on Community Game Night, playing some Halo 5 and some weird ass modes, but good times. Good to see those guys, and glad that Community Game Nights have been flourishing there on Fridays and Saturday nights.
Yep. Weird ass and Tushy go hand in hand. So yeah, whenever he's in charge, you never know what's going to happen.
Weird ass.
It's
like weird ass and ass go hand in hand.
Yeah. Let's just say the Jenga mode was weird as old heck. When we were going up a mountain dodging gigantic snowballs, that was another weird one. People are like, are you playing Halo? Yeah, there's some weird ass modded game modes in there right now, let me tell you. All right, let's leave the floor open. We have yet to hear from Terry, Shaddai, or Axel. Who wants to take the floor in this one? You guys can take your pick. Who's like that big old Borderland fan? Like, yeah.
Well, I finally got the chance to play last night, even though it took me like 20 minutes to play with a friend of mine, cross play. And for some reason, the layout for the press A to continue and all that, it disappeared on my Xbox for some reason. It just became pretty much like not, you can't use it. for the
Dude, seriously.
Yeah, so I had major issues, especially when it comes to crossplay. Like I couldn't play it for a while. And I couldn't add my friend. I couldn't do anything pretty much. So I had to quit the game, restart it. And then again, he trying to invite me and I couldn't pretty much, join him until he asked me, you know what, should I just hard reset the console? So I'm like, okay, I did that. And all of a sudden now it's working perfectly. So it was weird. But I got the chance to play for a bit. Connection issues, yes. I got disconnected. I started playing solo. Very different than any other Borderlands. This one's more straightforward, not open world like any other Borderlands. I'm with Clownz. It's like tabletop game when you're trying to go for the open, when you're trying to go from one area to the next. It's very, very different. Humor is there. I'm with, them, Clownz and Paul. So I'm going to continue to play that game to see what's going on. I like the dialogue. It keeps me, it's funny. But I could see that they took a different approach this time. And as of right now, I don't know how long it's going to take because games like that doesn't last. For me, games like that doesn't last that long. But I hope it's longer, similar to any other Borderlands. But
it's definitely longer, dude, because you don't even open up parts of the game till you're level 40. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, I feel like Mario, when you got the dots, you got to go from one here to the next one to the next one. So I'm like, I don't know if he's going to be that far off.
No,
but
there are a lot of side quests.
Yep. So thank you for letting me know that one. It's just that's the first thing that came up to mind, especially when I actually left the first part and trying to go for the next.
Yeah.
So that's the first impression that I had. But other than that, I think it's 10 hours for me right now. But hey, I'm liking it so far. I was skeptical. I was really skeptical because it's a spin-off majority of the time. It's like what happened with Alan Wake when they did that spin-off with Nightmare, it went downhill. So I was very skeptical. That's why I asked you guys how how is the game, and then after that, well, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, and I ended up buying it. But you know, for me, it's a really good spinoff. I give them that. So later on, I'm gonna keep playing that, and let's see if I could reach that 40 like you said, and open more worlds. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, Axel or Coolcat Terri, do you guys want to play paper rock scissors? Who gets to go on this one? Terri looks like she'd be a fan of Tiny Tina.
Go for it, Terri.
All right, so I have not played this one yet. I'm still waiting to dive in on it. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to start my journey on this. I am a really big Borderlands fan. However, at the same time, I'm worried because out of all of the games, Borderlands 3 was my most hated. I just despised it. I didn't find it funny. It just didn't play the same. It didn't feel the same. It was just everything about it was off. And I did not enjoy 3. So I'm worried that it's going to kind of flow into this one. But it's tough, man, because I'm hopeful, because when you look at Borderlands 2, the Tiny Tina is assaulting on what was it, Dungeon Keep, Ring Keep, or whatever it was called. That DLC was one of the best DLCs Borderlands 2 had. Everybody loved it. You know, it was, you know, she introduced her whole D&D game that she had, you know, there. And now we have the spin-off standalone version of that DLC, which is great. And as long as they can keep to Tiny Tina's character and everything, I think it's going to be great. I'm looking forward to trying it. But at the same time, I'm worried because, like, one of the when it came to 3, one of the biggest issues I had is they didn't use their characters like they did in the past. You know, they didn't. For example, like Moxie or Torg or any of them, like they were there to be there, to say that they were there, but they didn't really play the big role that they normally would play. And they became more sideline back of, you know, characters that, you know, didn't hold a purpose at all. And it's like those are some of the best characters in the game, you know, that make everything enjoyable. So I'm just worried about it, but I'm on the fence. So I haven't bought the game because I'm renting it first. Because of my bad experience with 3, I didn't want to just dive in and then get that same experience I had with 3. So I'm playing it safe and I'm renting it first. If I like it, I'll buy it. If not, I'm sending it back, and I save myself, you know, some money, not having to, you know, pay for it up front. So it's just
give it time. Somebody tells me it'll be on Game Pass.
It probably will. I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, but it's just, yeah, I really, really want to play it. But yeah, it's just, like I said, I'm renting it first because I hated 3 so much that I do not want this to be like 3 at all. I'm being very cautious, very, very cautious with how this one is going to turn.
To me, this is nothing like 3 because it automatically draws you out of that world. It puts you into her world.
It has nothing to do with the world. It's the way that they designed it. Like the gameplay, I didn't like. I didn't like how they, you know, did the dialogue with the characters, how they utilized the characters. Like everything about 3 was off. Everything was off. It has something to do with the universe of Borderlands. Everything that they did design-wise was off, and I hated it. It wasn't fun to play. It just, I hated 3 so much. And it's just, that's what I'm worried about. Like Claptrap, for example. Like one of the biggest reasons, one of the things that, you know, was noticeable was Claptrap, because they didn't use the same voice actor, you know, and they got somebody else, and he couldn't bring it like the original did. And the original actor wanted to do it, and they tossed him to the curb and did him dirty, and it was like a huge, like, you know, that was a huge thing right there with that. So it's like, I don't want that to happen in this game. Like if that stuff happens in this game where I can notice there's a difference because they didn't utilize the characters or the voice actors or things, I'm going to notice that. And it's going to.
Well, that's the other thing too, with the exception of Tiny Tina, none of the original characters are in the game. Well, Claptrap does show up, but.
Yeah, so it's things like that. Like it's noticeable, you know, it's noticeable for a fan when the characters aren't behaving like themselves because the voice actor isn't able to portray it, you know, authentically because they're not the original.
I get that. What I'm saying in this game, all that goes out the window because you're playing a game within a game. You're not dealing with.
You're playing a game in the game. If you're playing a game with Tiny Tina and Tiny Tina isn't acting like Tiny Tina, it doesn't matter where Tiny Tina is.
No, she's definitely Tiny Tina. She's definitely Tiny Tina.
You know, So that
I
doesn't
expect
matter at all.
I expect you to blow up the game board before the game is over. So it's like
Coolcat Terri, I agree with you 100% on your concerns there, because as a Borderlands fan as well, especially 2 is my favorite. I felt like the beginning didn't have that kind of feel that 2 had, and the humor was different. I do know that they really tried to overutilize Wanda Sykes' voice to kind of help with the humor, because she's hysterical in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, it's no claptrap in the beginning or nothing like that.
okay, I give up. You guys want this thing for a game that's totally different. For a game that's totally different, you want what you had, and it makes no sense.
That's what made it magical, Paul.
But why would Claptrap be in Tiny Tina's, running her game? That makes no sense.
Same universe.
No, it's not really.
I mean, people, when they make their games, they base it on things that they know. So it would make sense that she might put him in there in some fashion, even if it was to completely make fun of him or something. Like I said,
he does show up, but what I'm saying is, don't put on there's nothing to. The Tiny Tina, from what I can tell, is the only recurring big character, and that's because it's her game.
Which is
everything
fine.
else is
Borderlands they're all different characters, and it was very enjoyable and well done. I don't care if there's different characters in it; it's how they do it that matters.
Okay.
And they screwed it up on 3, because every Borderlands game has all new characters in it, every single one. So that doesn't matter. That's not a factor. They always do that. They've always added new characters to the mix.
No, but that goes. You were just saying you hope they don't change the characters. You hope there's no characters to change except for Tiny Tina.
Fine, if Tiny Tina doesn't feel like Tiny Tina, I'm gonna hate it.
And even her take, and even the take on Claptrap in this game would be her take on Claptrap. So he might be different because it's her take. If you put yourself in the game, it's her telling a story. The whole thing is her telling a story. Like when you play D&D,
Which is fine.
it's the DM telling a story. So the characters may be a little different, maybe a little, because that's the way,
And if they do a really good job with the story writing, you will get that, and it'll be humorous, and it'll be great. But if they do a poor job with story writing, it's going to go over people's heads, and it's just going to feel flat. It comes down to the quality, Paul. I don't care if the character is being told from Tiny Tina's perspective. It comes down in the end, how well is the voice acting? How well is the story?
Okay. I'm just gonna. Okay.
It was terrible.
You're kind of moving the goalpost. What your original rant was. You're kind of moving the goalpost, but that's cool.
My original rant was I don't like when they change the voice actor. Fine, but if they do a good enough job and stuff, then I'm going to be good with it. But they did such a bad job with 3 that it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was horrible. Everything was. It was filled with plot.
No, you started with. I hope they don't bleed over what they did in 3, and I'm telling you, it's a totally different thing.
They can still bleed over with terrible, story. Like, who wrote the story? If it's the same people that wrote the 3 story, then they could very well bleed over, Paul.
Okay.
Okay? If you take a bad writer and you have them write another story, it's still going to be bad.
Hey,
Okay.
Axel, you can jump in here now, Axel, if you so dare.
I don't think I could top any of this, mainly because I don't care. And I don't. It's not because I don't care about Coolcat Terri or Paul. It's because I don't care about Borderlands. It's not a franchise I'm into. It's not a franchise that I enjoy. I've tried several times to get into Borderlands, and I just cannot, for the life of me, get into it. So I have no interest in Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So yeah, that's me. That's it. That's all I got.
I'll say Terry and Paul are starting to make Axel's hangover come back.
Suddenly my headaches are back.
Like the pre-sequel. I loved the pre-sequel. Most fans hated the pre-sequel. The pre-sequel was completely all new. It was a spin-off. It had all new characters. Everything was done their own way. They added the gravity thing. People didn't like that, whatever. But I was still able to really enjoy that game, and it was nothing like Borderlands 2. But it didn't matter, because they did a good enough job with it to where I enjoyed the characters. The characters were great. And that was another problem with 3, is even though they had all new characters like they always have done, the characters sucked. Their stories were uninteresting. I didn't care about a single one of the people you could play as. Not a single one of them. They were all lame. So it all comes down to how good is that writing. Make your character someone I want to enjoy, someone I want to play with, and get immersed with. Not boring characters that I couldn't care if they lived or died. I don't care what their backstory is. I don't care if they slept today. I don't care what they're going to do tomorrow. Just get them out of the dang story. That's the problem with 3 is the characters suck so bad. All right, so it doesn't matter if it's a whole new thing.
Coolcat Terri is correct on this. Okay, she has a good point. A Borderlands fan here as well, and 3 took me a little bit to get into used to, but the pre-sequel, I agree with you 100% on. I love the pre-sequel as well, and that is a whole different style of Borderlands. To me, it doesn't matter that it's a board game or Tiny Tina's version, etc., etc. I'd like to see the Borderlands humor. I like to see the voice actors do their actual characters as well. I don't like new voice actors taking over. I don't like new artists taking over. I want everything to look, in my mind, just like Pitch Perfect of Borderlands 2 to me. Like, even if they take those characters and move them into Tiny Tina, I'm glad that Tiny Tina's voice actor was the same. I think Ashley Birch is her name. I might be wrong. But I'm just glad that at least Tiny Tina is 100% on point. The board game's a new mechanic. And Paul, you know what? It still doesn't draw you in like the beginning of some of the Borderlands, man. I just got to say that. I have to say that. I rest my case. And Paul, if you disagree, we'll eat it over pineapple pizza.
Nope. They have. It's a different type of setup. They had to. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that most people here seem to be enjoying Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. Let's just talk about spin-offs. So what's been one of the best spin-off games that you guys can recall playing based on any franchise that you've loved? We've seen quite a few of them. As I mentioned earlier, Gears Judgment was a spin-off on my favorite franchise, Gears of War. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I think there was things with the mechanic of the game itself that I didn't mind the story. It wasn't the story part of the bear that I didn't like. It's just the fact that people can fly. We're at the helm on this one, and they did that whole like horde mode crap in the middle of the campaign, which kind of in a sense spawned off, which sort of fed off of the success of the horde. But they're trying to do it while you're doing the story, and I kind of found that annoying. There's a few other little things I didn't like about it. Plus, they changed up some of the game mechanics, including I think it was Y to switch like quick weapons instead of the D-pad, and a few other things like that. So, but
did it still feel like a Gears of War game to you?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. Like, I mean, graphically and stuff, it looked good, and had some great story and good Gears characters and stuff like that. And so I was fairly happy with it. It didn't quite deliver, but the story wise, the multiplayer was the biggest departure, but the story was definitely pretty good. So I was relatively happy with it. Does anybody have any favorite spin-offs?
Yeah,
because we obviously see lots of spin-offs coming out right now. I mean, obviously the Batman Arkham series is now getting the what's just the game coming out there? The
Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights, right? Which doesn't feature the Batman himself, at least not that we know of, but it has some of the other characters that were made famous in that universe. So
I'm confident that he'll show up. I'm confident. I'm sorry, sidetrack.
Yeah.
I'm confident he'll show up because that's the major flaw with Batman's universe is if Batman's not there, then it all comes down to where is Batman? What's Batman? He's such a gravitating character that they can't not have him in it because when he's not in something, they have to eventually bring him in it because everything revolves around freaking Batman. So it's inevitable. But that's sidetrack.
I have to agree with Terry. It's inevitable. I also agree that Batman is going to show up. They've killed him a million times in the DC universe, and he always comes back. Something's going to happen, He fakes his death. He's stuck in a time loop. Some crap, he's going to come back. But my favorite spinoff, I'm going to go with Halo Wars. Halo Wars adds everything to the Halo first-person shooter game, and it's completely different. But it respects the lore. It respects the player world that they've created, the universe, if you will. Plus, it builds on interesting. It tells side stories that you would have never heard otherwise. I'm mostly going to go on Halo Wars 2 because it introduced the Banished to us. You know, it gave us Atriox, probably the best antagonist Halo has ever had. So I'm going to go with Halo Wars. The gameplay from an RTS, if you're an RTS buff, it's a little weak, but if you're a console RTS guy or a simplistic RTS guy like me, Halo Wars hits the spot, man. The unit balance, the DLCs that came out after it launched, Halo Wars 2, you know, the what was it? Awakening the Nightmare was awesome. Playing as the Banished was great. All I need now is to play as the Flood, and my life will be complete. But Halo Wars is a game that I keep going back to over and over and over again because it's just so rich. The cutscenes are great. The story is fantastic, and it's told in a different way than, you know, first-person stories are told. It has its own ancillas, its own AIs. You know, it has Serena and Isabel. You know, Captain Cutter is a master strategist who can take it to the Covenant and probably could have won the Covenant Human War earlier if he wasn't lost out in the middle of nowhere. You know, they also have Sergeant Forge, who took on an Arbiter all by himself. You know, he's technically an Orion soldier, Spartan 1 technically, but you know, still the fact that he's not a Spartan and was able to take on an Arbiter by himself was pretty awesome. I just love everything about Halo Wars. So, and especially the art style. The art style is fantastic in Halo Wars. That's me.
Nice. All right. Who else wants to jump in with a favorite or even a least favorite spin-off game? Because I'm sure we played a few bad ones. I can definitely tell you one of my least favorite spin-off games. And I'll get to that in a minute. Let's hear from you, Shaddai.
Well, for me, it's going to be Resident Evil Revelations because after Resident Evil 4, for some reason, Capcom decided to go a little bit more action and, you know, less horror for some reason. So when Resident Evil Revelations actually released, they finally went back to how, you know, what Resident Evil is, you know, going for the horror. And since then, I think, I'm not going to say I think, probably that's what they needed, pretty much of a reboot of horror, and that's why we keep receiving, you know, a new, fresh Resident Evil first person, now a different point of view. The horror is there, and that's what they needed. They needed to see or pretty much test if they still, you know, if they still have it. Because I know during that year, Dead Space was actually competing with them to see who was the best. That's my interpretation. It was who was the best on creating horror games. And when Revelations released, that actually was praised for a lot of people because they felt that they went back to what Resident Evil is supposed to be and always been. And for me, it's Resident Evil Revelations. For me, it's Resident Evil Revelation until the day I still like it. So I still haven't finished the first person, but for now, Resident Evil Revelations for me for a spinoff. You're muted. You're muted.
That was a pretty good pick. Totally forgot about that one. Great stuff. A little Resident Evil up in here. That's good stuff. All right. Anybody else?
Does parody movies count?
Sorry, what?
Does like a parody of a movie count? Because I love James Pond on Genesis.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah, no, I just want to say, like, I thought it was really good. Yeah, it's a good choice of humor. You know, they took a fish and turned it into an iconic character. And at first it was like kind of like a joke, right? And then it ended up getting sequels. So it surprised them, I believe. Surprised the audience.
Nice. It was a great pick and going old school on that one. Well, I'm going to just say real quick. I can tell you that one of the spinoffs I did not really like. It wasn't a terrible game by any means, but it was that one, the Wolfenstein. What the hell was it? Wolfenstein. what's it with the two girls, the
You're
daughters?
talking about Youngblood.
Youngblood?
Yeah.
Youngblood. Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wolfenstein
Just
Youngblood.
something about that game just didn't feel right. Didn't really feel like its predecessors. I don't know.
No, I didn't care for Youngbloods at all. I didn't.
I think it was because of the.
Aren't they like
co-op
the
aspect.
daughters of Blaskovich or whatever his name
Yep.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Blacksowitz.
they had co-op stuff. That was kind of cool, but just the game, it's just I don't know. Something fucking really felt off with that one.
I liked it, but I didn't love it. Like I liked enough to play through the whole thing, but yeah, it didn't. It wasn't the same.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
It fell really flat for me. That one. It really did.
Paul doesn't like him young.
As well, he shouldn't.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that, Paul. You wear that crown happily, all right?
Yeah, there's no safe way to really answer that question. You know it.
Any hot grannies down during your hospital visit or what?
Yeah.
Anything for you, Paul? Any particular game?
No, not really. I mean, I can't really think of any that really knocked me out of the park or anything.
Okay. Interesting.
I'll go.
Well, I just play games to play games. Half the times I don't even realize if it's a spin-off or whatever. I know direct sequels, but I don't necessarily,
Well,
One
of the most popular
Nintendo.
spin-offs is on PlayStation right now. Spider-Man Miles Morales. I mean, essentially, it's technically a spin-off.
I haven't played any of those yet. Seriously, so
Oh, you're overdue, man.
I
It's
would-
an amazing game.
I would say
Yeah.
Nintendo. Like
Yeah, I agree with
Nintendo, majority of Nintendo's games are spin-offs. Like,
yeah, I was gonna see. When I saw the topic, that's what I thought. A lot of Nintendo's gonna get talked about because you have all that, everything in Nintendo is a spin-off of something.
Nintendo loves their spin-offs, and then they're like the one like company that like all their spin-offs for the most part. I mean, they had some flops, but pretty much all their spin-offs are very successful. Which is,
Metroid
unheard
Prime,
of.
baby.
I have an
You know?
unpopular. I have an unpopular one.
Yeah.
I hate ODST. Halo ODST.
ODST.
Yeah,
there you
because
go.
it's always in the dark, and you have to.
Wait,
go
zoom in
by-
on Axel. I want to see that.
Yeah. Even though I beat it, but I'm like, come on, man. Now we gotta go all into the dark, and now you gotta go through the visor and look at their outline to see if it's the enemy. No, sorry, no.
Put this man in the hot box. Put him in the hot box. He doesn't know what
Hey,
he's
but at
talking
least I
about.
like Halo Wars. I got the chance to beat it. I never played that style of game, but I dedicated time and I liked it. But ODST, always, during the nighttime, no, that's okay. I'll pass on that one.
You just don't know how to fight a new. If you don't know how to fight in New Mombasa, just say so, man.
Oh no, that
I mean,
it was
just fantastic. They had to program 2 layers of visuals into it because you're fighting in the dark. Your visor has the infrared vision on it that highlights the bad guys.
Right. So I'm
because
like,
you're in the
why?
dark.
We're so used
it's so
to during
weird
the day,
that you can still see them.
Sometimes you don't.
I thought Halo
sometimes
ODST was
man,
really
you gotta
cool.
get your eyes checked. I saw everything.
So that means you had a night vision on top of another one, just to
Nah,
see
man,
clearly.
you just
I
need
thought
to
ODST
learn how to
was
use
cool.
the Batman vision on Halo ODST.
Oh god. Next time we're gonna have that ghost meter just for grunts, just to find them. It's way too dark. It's like way too dark.
Yeah.
One thing that ODST definitely did is and definitely made the enemies a lot more menacing because again, you weren't a Spartan soldier now. You didn't have
Right.
all of the, all the heavy artillery, so to speak, so kind of added more of a stealth element, and of course the co-op was cool, but yet you still felt like you're in the Halo universe. And hey, how can you not forget about Buck, man? Buck was in there, Mr. Nathan Fillion himself, man. So that was awesome.
But my favorite part of ODST was when the engineer grabbed the smoke from Sergeant Johnson and started smoking it. That was epic.
No, my favorite part was when I finished and I put it to the side. I'm like, thank God, let's go for the next one.
Yeah. Yeah, no, but you definitely Terry nailed on the head though. Nintendo's famous for taking characters that make appearances in one game. Next thing you know, they got their own game, and how can you not love some of Luigi's little sidetrack? Luigi's Mansion, for example.
Yeah. Not for nothing. Yes, I know.
Luigi's Manson's good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great little game.
Actually,
the
I
Mario
agree.
plus Rabbids.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I know, and they still haven't made a Waluigi game. They made from everything except that guy.
Luigi doesn't deserve a game.
Even Wario
Yeah,
got
it's
the
like-
wasn't Wario's WarioWare, is it all?
Yeah,
is it
Wario.
Wario's
See what I
Days?
mean?
Yeah.
Picking
I
your
know
nose.
Waluigi.
and
Mario has his own spin-offs. Like they all like pretty much a lot of the characters that are big time Nintendo characters have their own spin-offs. You know, like you have Metroid Prime, Mega Man X, Donkey Kong Country's a spin-off. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of their stuff is like it's very successful.
Bring back
For
Mega
me,
Man Legends.
for me though, it's one that a lot of people probably haven't played, but like I'm real big in racing games. So like Driver, I've mentioned it before. Driver is one of my all-time favorite franchises. And to me, I feel that Driver Parallel Lines is a spin-off because in that one you don't play as Tanner. And in that one, Driver games, you always just play as the wheelman Tanner, and it takes place in one city, and that's it. Parallel Lines, you don't play as Tanner, and you jump around between cities, and it jumps around between timelines and stuff. And it was just very fun, and it was a lot of fun. And I just really, really enjoyed how they did that. And it has like one of the best soundtracks out there. Between you, because it's crazy. Like the game starts off in like in the 70s, so you have like these very popular 70s songs, and then it jumps to like the 80s and the 90s. It's crazy, but it's just so well done. And I love it to death. And since I'm also talking about racing games, one of the most popular spin-offs, Forza Horizon. So there you go. Forza Horizon's a spin-off. So it's very popular. I mean, I've personally, lost interest of it after 3, but it's still, it does a very great job with what they do. Definitely should be, something that
Terry, you should definitely play Forza Horizon 5. Like, it is leagues better than Forza Horizon 4, and I love Forza Horizon 4.
I did play 5.
Yeah,
it's definitely better than 4, but it wasn't good enough to keep it going. I played it for like a couple weeks, like maybe 2 weeks, and I was like,
hey man, that's a long time. 2 weeks is a long time.
I didn't get far in 2 weeks because I was just like, It's just the same thing where they jump you around, and it didn't feel like you were getting anything done. I couldn't get into it, but yeah, no. Horizon is definitely something that needs to at least get brought up on this topic because
awesome.
They're grossing, outside of Nintendo, spin-offs, successfully. So it's definitely.
Anybody have anything else about ones they really didn't like? Stuff that just just didn't hit right?
Alan Wake Nightmare. That was horrible.
That's an interesting pick. I didn't even play that one, but people did say it was quite a bit different.
Yeah,
I want to say one more that I loved.
It was
if I can. And
go ahead.
That's Command and Conquer Generals. Command and Conquer had the other spin-off Red Alert, and then they had Renegade. But Generals, man, Modern Warfare, using the Command and Conquer engine, it was just so epic. And then 0 Hour came out. My childhood, every game ceased to exist when that game came out. It was just strategy on a whole new level, and it just proved that, even though StarCraft is big, Command and Conquer was still the daddy. So, yeah, that's all. That's the only other one.
There's so many great spin-offs to just list, so like it's crazy.
Absolutely.
We should do an episode just on that.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, there you
really
go. There might be a great topic for one of your iconic video game podcasts.
There you go, man.
Yeah, I might have to steal this one, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's so many great ones to list. But I'll mention one that I hated. I'm a huge Saints Row fan.
Yeah.
And I hated Agents of Mayhem. It's just
right.
I just couldn't get into it. It didn't have the same flow. It was just everything about it is just I couldn't do it. It's just
Axel,
it wasn't Saints Row. It wasn't Saints Row.
Axel, another great idea for your show would be hit and miss sequels from different eras too. You could go 8-bit, 16-bit, and so on, like sequels that came out and just never hit or were bigger than the original. It's a good topic for you.
Yeah, because some sequels do it worse.
They do.
Blink 2.
Yeah.
Blink 2. Yeah.
Halo 2
3.
yeah, absolutely. sequels a hit and miss, right? We all see them. Remember Super Mario 2? Like, some people loved it. It was definitely not anywhere close to like how good Mario 3 was in comparison. You know what I mean?
Right, but it did introduce a lot of favorite characters. The Shy Guys,
Mm-hmm.
the octopus-looking egg-shooty things. I don't know what they're called.
Right.
So yeah.
I would have to say Gears 2. I don't know. I personally, I thought Gears 2 was cool, but I don't think it was still had the same effect for me as the first game.
Oh,
but
man,
I'm off
I'm
off on a totally different topic, by the way.
I think you need to have a Gears cast.
Yes, at some point, perhaps that would be really good. All things Gears.
That's right.
I never played it, but like, what about Portal? Portal's a popular spin-off. Did anybody out here like Portal?
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I did.
Absolutely.
I beat Portal 2 on co-op. I love Portal Bridge Constructor. That one was so much fun. Portal is a great game that started off as just a kind of a demo, the original Portal, and it spun off into its own series. So, and it introduced the Portal gun, which has remained popular.
GTA Chinatown Wars.
That was good.
I never played it.
That was really, really good.
Because that was totally different than the games that preceded it. It was back to the sort of that top down or whatever kind of deal.
Yep. It was funny too.
Yeah.
Really
Portal was introduced in the orange box, and many of you are too young to have experienced the original orange box.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Before we get to the last topic, sorry, go ahead. Good.
No, I just said all right. That's
okay. Before we get into the last topic, I thought I would do something we haven't really done here for a while. It was supposed to be a regular feature on the show, but I don't know, for whatever reason, just hasn't become something marquee. But I did say to everybody on the panel that if you had one, we would do one. And this week, I think it's long overdue, and I think I'm going to jump in here, and that is a community member spotlight. So I'm going to share my screen with you right here, and I'm going to bring up who I would like to share as my community member spotlight. So just give me a second here. All right, and here it is. All right, can you see this on the screen?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Dear friend of the community, and someone to me who's just more than just somebody that, essentially I met through podcast chats, was where I first was introduced to this lovely lady, the Assassin Lupa. Yes, when I first recall Assassin Lupa, she showed up to a lot of my podcasts. It was in the chats and would, and to be honest with you, at first I didn't even know it was a lady because there was no indication when I first met her that it was. And we also know how sometimes guys will come on under fake profiles as a lady or what have you. And, but that's where I first was introduced to Lupa. I can't say for sure exactly which podcast perhaps I saw her on first or what her first ever podcast was, but she is now a regular of the Xbox Ultimate podcast on Friday nights with Mav, Caitlin, Pong Soul, and others. But Assassin Lupa, for me, the reason I wanted to pick her as well, because she's legitimately become not only sort of a community icon and a voice for some great ladies out there, but she has become a really good friend of mine. One of my favorite experiences from 2021 was playing It Takes Two with Assassin Lupa. I'm not kidding. When we played that game, we argued, we laughed, we almost cried at times. We had such a great experience playing, and I've had a chance to get to know her behind the scenes and how genuine of a person she is. And she's such an inspiration and a light, and she's a real trooper in every sense of the word. When people say, somebody is a warrior, well, she definitely is it, because she has gone through hell and back and continues to do so. Just recently, even her husband ended up in the hospital. And I said, man, like, if anybody has literally had a crap show of a couple of years, you have to say it's Assassin Lupa. But she's still here with us. God bless her. Real fighter, but she's just so funny. Like, she's down to earth. And if anybody's ever played with her at a community game night, not only, like, she should openly admit she's not the best at some of the games, and it's partly because of all the health issues she's gone through. She doesn't have the dexterity that she once had. But the thing is, she comes out and she plays, and she's so funny. She'll say some really cool stuff, like, in her lovely accent, and call you a wanker, and you know, and say some really crazy stuff, and just a genuine soul. And I wanted to bring her up and give her a shout out because I don't have a whole lot more podcasts to do this for a while, and I wanted to make sure that she knew how much I appreciate her, and I'm pretty sure there are other people in the community who feel the same way. She's had my back since day one. She's been honest and upfront with me, but again, she's a great gamer. She's funny. Like I said, man, she's a friend of the community. She shows up the podcast. She supports. Just recently she gifted me something, even like she didn't have to do that. I should be the one gifting her, if anything, for all the crap she's gone through, but she knew I was having a rough time, and you know, that's the kind of person that she is. So Assassin Lupa, if you're watching the show, if you catch us on the replay, I just wanted to know sincerely, we love you. We need more people in the community who are like you, but you're obviously the only one. And many blessings to you. And we hope that you continue to rock being just an awesome person and a great community member. And I look forward to seeing you in more podcasts to come. And even if I'm not on podcasts, I just wanted to let you know where to find me. Let's play some more games. Let's get out there and do it. And we'll see you soon. And if anybody has anything they want to add with Assassin Lupa, the floor is yours.
Yeah, what can you say that you haven't said? So I had Assassin Lupa on one of my pre-recorded shows, if you remember, a couple of times back.
Yes.
And she didn't know anything about me. I only knew about her through the chats, as you said, and recommendations. And what a fantastic person she is. She is full of gaming knowledge. She loves what she does. She is a positive. She has her own humor, as you said, because it's British. And she's incredible. She could just talk about whatever you want for hours. And I want to emphasize that she can talk about whatever you want.
Yeah.
She's incredibly selfless. Selfless. You know, if you need her to talk about this, that's what she'll do. If you need her to just listen, that's what she'll do.
Mm-hmm.
She is a fantastic person. Great pick, Newf.
Indeed. And if anybody wants to go play It Takes Two with her, she's more than happy to do so. And just one achievement I don't think she's gotten yet. She's gotten every other achievement in the game, and obviously she ran through it with me. And there's the one where you have to climb this bloody tower. I think they call it the Nightmare Tower, the Tower of Doom, or some freaking thing. It's in one of the later levels, and it's legitimately the hardest achievement to get in that game because the damn tower is so large, and you have to climb it, and the camera constantly turns. So you constantly got to be fidgeting the camera to find the best angles. And if you don't get it right, you go right back to the bottom and it's always sliding. Are you familiar with it, Paul?
Yeah, and I hate to break it to you, there's an easy workaround for that whole achievement.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I know there's one where you can skip the bottom half by getting on the rope and
well, well, what you do is you don't trigger the tower at all. You go to the next part where you get the ability to fly. And then you come back to the tower and fly up to the top of the tower. And ta-da, achievement.
Wow.
Wow. You should let so long, that's when Paul decides to say it.
Yeah.
No, I sat there with Lupa one night after I got up there, and she's like, damn you, Newfie, you got to the top already. I've been jumping all this fucking time, and I can't get up there. I hate you. You did it. Look at me. I can't get up there. And that's Lupa, yeah. Right? And she's trying. I must have sat there, like I literally sat there and watched her jump and jump and jump for probably 40 minutes, and she finally just said, "You know what? I'm not going to keep you, Newfie. You go to bed. I'll do this another time with somebody else. It's okay." And that's my lame impression of Assassin Lupa, but yeah. But you can hear it.
You did that way better than Carlo does a English accent.
Yes.
Wow.
If Lupa was here, she'd probably say, "I just wanted to say to you guys, you are bloody awesome. Thank you so
much."
Yeah.
I want to say I gotten to know Lupa maybe about a year and a half, 2 years ago. She would come in the party chats every morning when Flamish used to work on a bus route, and she would hang out with us like all morning. And she is one of the nicest people in this community. Mm-hmm. And like you said, Newf, she's very genuine. She's honest. She's not gonna sugarcoat anything. If she's got something to say, she will be honest and direct with you and tell you how she feels.
Yeah.
And that is something that's very respectable, because there's many people out there today that can't be honest and they can't tell you how they feel, or they're fake personas. But Lupa's 100% honest, and she's just a very kind person. And like you, and I know she's been through a lot, and she continues to fight no matter the struggle, but she never brings her negativity into any party chat. She never brings the issues that she's facing. She comes online.
Yeah.
And everybody she's hanging out with, she just wants everybody to have a good time. She doesn't even like to talk about herself or tell people what she's been going through. And, you know, in some ways, that's a strong strength, and I admire her for that. But also, you know, I do want to let her know, if she's listening, that it's always okay to tell people about what you're going through. If you need someone to talk to, we're always here for you, Lupa. We always got your ear. Anything that we can do to help you out, we always will. And she is just a very, you know, she's very kind, because she even helped someone get a TV. I remember she gifted me Pumpkin Jack, I think it was, because she knew I wanted to play it. Yeah. And I mean, I just can't tell you how much fun I used to have playing Wreckfest with her. She is hysterical in Wreckfest. If you ever play that game with her, it's a blast.
Oh yeah,
for her and her damn casket car, the damn hearse.
Her hearse, yeah, she loves the hearse. Yeah,
God, yes, you're in for a rough ride if she gets her hearse. Let me tell you.
and you know what? She's the only person to tell Flamish to get off the damn bus in the game. She's like, Flamish, stop! Get off that bus.
Yeah, no, I figured it was long overdue. She's like I said, and just women in general, where there's not enough of them. There's not enough that just come out and be a part of the stuff that we do, whether it's podcasting, streaming, and after talking to Lupa, you know what? Some of it's by design, and some of it's because honestly, the community is a toxic, bunghole at times, where just people do not want to see ladies enjoy themselves, or there's just so up in their feelings because a lady can get in on Halo and kick their butt, or whatever be the case, and you see this crap all the time, and it's just like, it doesn't matter what the gender is, as long as they love playing games and are part of the community. And we should open them with, open arms, not discourage them and not call them out for it. We all have little jokes, but we all know where there's limits on crossing the line, right? So, and the fact that she almost stepped away from gaming, like she didn't enjoy that part, because that was what she got. You get in the room and you play, and it's, you're just a woman, and you're pathetic, and all that kind of gross stuff. I don't even know why people are like that, but it is what it is, I guess. But anyway, Sass and Lupa, you're amazing, and keep on being amazing, love.
Yeah, she's awesome. I remember in community game night, I think she was playing with you Back for Blood, and she kept on messing around with the crows, and you were like, why you did?
Yes, she liked to wake the crows up. Yeah.
She started yelling and all that, and I started laughing. So she was really, really funny.
Yes.
But everything started because I know she was nice. I know she just a chat. She was like, hey, how's Shaddai and all that. And then during the time, I know you you invited her as a special guest, and we get to know her a little bit better. And since then, it took off, and like everybody says, she went through a lot. She doesn't need to tell everybody her business, but I'm with Clownz on that one. We here, we play a game, but sometimes that's how friends are. If you're comfortable, talking to, depending on the person, and if you feel sad or anything like that, us as a gaming community, we could get together and talk and all that, because not for nothing, we all, everybody have their own problems.
Right.
It just sometimes some people doesn't want to hear it because they have that mentality that say, you know what, that's none of my business. That's on you. Sometimes a person feels rejected by that answer, but there are others that is like, you know what, we could work things out. We could talk and all that, and help each other out. But Lupa is just funny. Lupa as a whole is just funny. and yeah, and she got me. Like I said, I was really laughing during that Back for Blood, and it was funny just messing around with the crows. She really got me laughing.
Yeah,
Really
every game that you play with her, she has something funny to say.
Yep.
Great stuff right there. I wanted to get into the other topic, but at the same time, I think it's a topic about subscription services and stuff that I think if we get going, we're going to be here for a while. So I think I'm going to leave that for another day. All that sort of stuff, and we'll kind of get ready to close out the show. Unless Axel, if you have anything you'd like to address on cloud gaming or anything this week.
No, as you said, I'm kind of also got plans for today, so we're gonna go ahead and skip that. That's okay.
And Cerebral Paul, anything on the accessibility at this time? Nothing really new?
Not really. Nothing new and exciting. Yeah.
Okay. So,
and I too have a lot of plans today. I'm going to be busy until like 9 o'clock tonight from here on out. So
I'm not going to keep everybody. We're going to get out of here. Like I said, just address the stuff at the start of the show. I have left it open for this panel that once I step away from my channel, if they wish to continue Good Morning Xbox, if they wish to change the time slot or do whatever they want, I guess really it comes down to the collective bargaining agreement between them all. I fully support any choices that they make as long as they will be willing to have me back should I return in the future. But we'll get there when we get there. But just saying that anything is possible. I know Titan wishes to continue with GAD, Gaming After Dark, which is awesome. But he does plan, I think, on moving it to a different day and time that suits his schedule better, since he'll be hosting it on his channel, I do believe, in the future. As for adding that extra panel member, I have no idea what is up with that or how that's going to evolve. But we'll see when the time comes. In the meantime, we still have a few more shows where I will, scare you guys with my presence on screen. And but anyway, let's get out of here. And let's start with the amazing man with the beard, the man with the crocodile that's ready to eat his head. Italian Clownz, aka Carlo, long time waiting, but he came on the show. He did not disappoint. Again, you got to be following this guy if you're not. He's had some of the best gaming interviews in the industry on his shows. I don't get to catch him nearly as often as I'd like, but when I do, he never disappoints. Like I said, a good friend to the community and member of the Gamers United Guild. So, Carlo, Italian Clownz, let people know, brother, what you got going down and where they can find you.
Yeah, thanks, Newf. First of all, pleasure being on the show. Great to get to talk with everybody, even though that Paul's sometimes wrong and he loves pineapples. So, yeah, we have a big interview coming up in May. Derek Robertson, he is the co-creator of The Boys from Amazon. He's coming back on the show. He's doing some big projects in the DC universe, so we're going to talk to him about that. Also, for a lot of people that don't know this, I have kind of like a sort of big announcement. Some people might be interested, some people might not be. But so there's a political party called the Pirate Party. Some may be familiar with their international candidates that were elected in the European Council, European Parliament. But basically, the idea of the party is to reform copyright law and to make it easier for the average person to work around it without being, taken down constantly by these big social media companies or so forth and so on. I've been elected to be the official chairperson of the Florida Pirate Party, and we're looking to reform the DMCA. The Smart Copyright Act is about to be passed, which is going to affect every YouTuber, every content streamer, because it gives a librarian of the Copyright Office, which Congress is going to create, the ability to determine what fair use actually is on a case-by-case basis. So trailer reviews and all that stuff could be gone essentially forever if this passes, and we want to stop that. So we're looking for people to always volunteer to help out and for candidates to run for office in the state of Florida. That's awesome.
Look forward to that interview. It's going to be good stuff. Lots of very valid information is going to come out to the forefront, it sounds like. Yeah, last week's show alone, copyright strike for having Kalechi on here because of the music the trailer. I was like, come on, man, this is crazy. But anyway, Let's get back to the outros. Let's start with Cerebral Greasy Hair Paul.
It's not greasy. My God.
Sorry, Paul.
Anyway.
Paul is short in the front, party in the back.
No, it's not short in the front either. Trust me. If I take the headset off, you'll see how long it really is. Anyway, so you can find me at Twitter, Cerebral Paul 1, Twitch and YouTube at Cerebral Paul. You can find me Sundays here, at least for the next 4 weeks. You can find me Tuesdays, Retro Renegades, Wednesdays, Midweek Gaming on the Stubbscast channel, Thursdays, of course, with Carlo on 4GQ TV, and then Friday and Saturday, if I'm up for it, and they're playing a game I actually enjoy, the community game nights. Am I missing anything? Oh, wait. Yes, I always forget because I'm not used to it. But, of course, if you want to watch me do my own show, I'm on the Xbox Ambassador channels Mondays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And that makes it 6 p.m. UK GMT. I do Gaming Differently with Cerebral Paul. This week, I will be playing Tiny Tina's and going through the beginning of that again, you know, Carlo's favorite part. And walking people through that, especially the character creation. Even the character creation was kind of fun. Because for, like, selecting the gender, it says this one or that one. So, so they even had fun with a lot of the stuff they put in the game as far as the written stuff that you have to read. So, yeah, I'll be doing that this tomorrow. So, yeah, join me then if you'd like to on Xbox Ambassadors on the Twitch channel.
Okay. Nice. By the way, Paul, whatever you did this week with your mic settings, you're definitely sounding much, much better. This is really good. Just
cool.
You know. So whatever you got going on there, you got to make sure the settings are all the same. There you go.
They will be until Microsoft patches Windows or whatever patches whatever and breaks everything that I own again.
New update. Yeah, every time you got to restart your computer to an update, you're like, oh crap, cross my fingers.
Yeah, what's not going to work this time? Yeah.
I hear you. All right, let's get over to Mr. Axel1324. Axel, what's going down for you, brother?
Hey, thank you so much. Hey, everybody. I'm Axel1324. You can find me on YouTube and on Twitch, Axel1324 Gaming, all one word. I am the host of the Iconic Video Games Podcast. No consoles, no services, just games. Be sure to tune in every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can also find me on Xbox and Twitter at Axel1324.
Absolutely. All right, Mr. Cellblock22 himself, Eternal Shaddai, brother. Where can people find what you got going down?
Well, after this one, I should be out from jail. So, nah. This is your compatriot, Eternal Shaddai. Thank you, for watching us. And you can find me at Twitter at Eternal Shaddai. Even on the Xbox console, Eternal Shaddai. On Twitch at ET Shaddai. I'll be streaming here and there. Last night, I tried to stream Tiny Tina's until my network was like, remove me from the game. So I have to restart all over again. But other than that, until next weekend. And thank you, Italian Clownz, for being, here with us.
Absolutely.
Anytime, man.
Last but not least, the saboteur himself, Coolcat Terri. Let people know what's happening with you.
All right, everybody. Yes, you can go ahead and catch me over on Twitch. It's Monday through Wednesday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m.-ish Eastern time. Monday, I might go later, but Wednesdays definitely I have to cut short because I have to get up at 5 a.m. for work, and it sucks. But other than that, you guys, you can always go tongue-tied. You can catch me over on Twitter at Coolcat_Terri. And if you want to stay in the loop when it comes to up there, or you can follow me on Instagram, YouTube, whatever. I'm pretty much everywhere. Just search my name. I'm there. It's either going to be like you see it or with an underscore in between it. So I'm there.
There you go. And all the links to everybody on this particular panel and even our guests are down below in the chat description on YouTube. So go hit them up, give them a follow, go watch their channels. As you say, support and be supported. Shout out to the Gamers United Guild. Check out all the amazing podcasts in the guild. Guys like Carlo and many, many others. Check it out. www.gamersunitedguild.com. Go over there and check it out. All that good stuff, guys. And obviously, you know where to find me. Always in the gutter. Yes, when I'm not hanging out with this amazing panel on this incredible little show, you can find me Tuesday nights with Titan Drago on Gaming After Dark. That is 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. And looking forward to it again on Tuesday. Until then, and to Scrub, hopefully you'll get back next week. Sorry you had to go to work today. We missed you. But like I said, hopefully back next week, guys. Again, thank you all for all the support. Love seeing you guys in the chat. You guys are amazing. We'll see you again next week. But until then, have a fantastic Sunday. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Bye, everybody.
Have a great morning.
Bye.
Me.
That jail is awesome.